So Mary Beth Franklin, she writes for like Kiplinger and a whole bunch of places. Pretty smart, very smart when it comes to Social Security, and she's a retirement writer. And so I have great respect for her, even though I don't agree with everything. I'm not sure she has a lot of, personal planning experience, if you will. But she does do a really good job of interviewing people and getting information in print. So here she writes, just the other day, guaranteed income tops boomers' retirement wish list. I've reported on this before. This isn't the first time that we've heard this, but I want to ask Lynn Rose, certified financial planner, my co-host for the day, what she thinks about this. Quote, monthly guaranteed income is the most important single trait that aging boomers look for in a retirement investment, ranked number 1 or number 2 by 41% of participants in the latest annual survey of retirement expectations and preparedness by the Insured Retirement Institute. Tackle that one. Almost half of the people say the number one thing that they want in a retirement investment is guaranteed income. What say you?
There is no question that's true, Ray. I can tell you, case after case after case for many years where people would come back to me for their annual reviews and say, can we get more of that guaranteed income stuff in our portfolio? Because we want to, make sure that we've got a check coming in and be able to turn that spigot on later or turn it on now and have more income. We want to do some traveling and so on. I literally, Ray, I had to tell people, no, we're like heavily weighted in that, so we don't want to get out there too far over the skis. But at the same time, that was the part of their portfolio that they felt most secure in. They could count on. They didn't have to worry about, what the market was doing. Their friends would be complaining and they would be sleeping at night.
Here's what is frightening to me from a retirement planning perspective. Mm-hmm. And again, this is right from the IRI study. I'm not making this stuff up. 7 in 10 boomers, even those that work with financial advisors, said it is very important for retirement income to be guaranteed for life, yet only 14% plan to purchase an annuity with a portion of their 401k or IRA, and only 3% have actually done so.
It's because of fake news about annuities. What can I tell you?
Speaking of fake news, the fellow that's on TV that downplays the whole annuity thing, he says something that is unequivocally untrue. And that is, anything you can do with an annuity, he can do with his managed portfolio.
No,
Talk about that.
Well, let's face it, guarantee is a very tricky word. And there are lots of compliance people sitting around that say never, ever, ever use the word guarantee when you're talking about investments. Get it. But insurance companies are able to do that because they have a contractual agreement with you that says, guess what? You can't outlive this income. That's the way it is. And that's a contractual agreement with companies that are 70, 80, 100 plus years old. Tough to beat that. At the same time, you can't hear that from a bank. You're never going to hear that from your credit union, and you're certainly not going to hear that from your stockbroker. What can I say?
All right, so how do you get beyond the fake news with individuals? Mm-hmm. Do you have to sit down with them and sort of go through the laundry list? I know that last month, Roger Ibbotson from the Ibbotson Company, that was bought out by Morningstar and all that, did a white paper, I guess it was a white paper, on a study that appeared in Think Advisor, and I think it was on Morningstar and a few other places, that documented that index annuities are a better deal than bonds. Oversimplified statement, but you're never going to hear that from the guys that are managing money, because instead of paying, can you imagine paying an advisor a 1% consistent fee on a bond fund when they could have put the money into something that doesn't go down ever, even in a rising interest rate environment, and according to Roger Ibbotson, produces a better rate of return?
It boggles the mind, and sometimes I think, Ray, it's just, we get caught up in jargon in our industry, and we're talking to clients, and their heads are swimming already, and then another person comes along and says, I can do anything that an annuity can do, and you kind of go, well, okay, prove to me. So it's tough. It's very tough for them. And I understand that.
It's very tough for people like you because you're out there fighting the good fight. And listen, all we want to do is bring you the truth on this program. People like Lynn Rowe doesn't say, and I know you and I and our good friend who's a CFP, who's excellent investment advisor, one in whom I have great respect for. And back in 20 years ago when I was traveling to major corporations and doing 401k plans, if I had a conflict, I would bring her in to do my speaking for me. And the problem was a lot of them liked her better than me.
What can I say, right?
Yeah, she's shorter than me, but cuter than me.
She's about the same height. She's good height.
You and her, yeah. I'm the shortest guy, and was the shortest guy in my entire company, and I still towered over you two.
That's why you brought us on board.
Exactly. I could see over your head. But you are not denigrating those in the investment business. It's the business you grew up in.
Exactly.
You just don't do it anymore. You rely on others to handle the investment.
It's a holistic approach. You cannot sit there and say, pork chops are better than peas and carrots. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Or a hammer's better than don't start with me, right? Or a hammer is better than a saw. I mean, they're different tools, they're designed for different things, and they complement each other. But they only complement each other to the extent that it is tailored around your needs, your circumstances, and what you're trying to achieve in your own financial plan. And
if you want to talk with Lynn about that, I highly suggest you call her at 877-270-3127. She's the one that can help you with this stuff. You're like a shopping mart, right? Aren't you like, the Costco of fixed and indexed annuities and lifetime income strategies and long-term health care?
In the financial world, it's called a broker, but yes, that's correct.
I thought brokers were the ones that made you broker.
I know, yeah. It's an old
Lynn Rowe, I want my LTC.net. When we come back from the break, I want to talk about some of these stories that are coming out on why you either don't need to buy long-term care or you don't have to worry about this $250,000, $260,000 that Fidelity says you're going to spend on other health care expenses besides long-term care. So there's some good news in here, I think, for you and others, because that number has always frightened the bejeebers out of people. It scared me. Because I'm of that age where, you start thinking about retirement and they say, well, you're going to spend $280,000 and your wife's going to spend $280,000. That's $560,000. And you look at your investment portfolio and you got $300,000. And you say, wait a minute, I'm already eating dog food. Be advised, it may not be as bad as you think. We'll talk with Lynn Rowe, certified financial planner. When we come back from the break, make sure you stay tuned. You never know. You never know what you just might pick up on a program like this. Again, Lynn's website is iwantmyltc.net. You can, cruise around it, check it out, or simply call her. She can get you all this stuff because she's a broker who won't make you broker. 877-270-3127. Be right back.